Welcome to Introduction to Asset Management. This presentation is designed to give you an overview of asset management, but more detailed information on some of the aspects raised can be found in the Financial and Asset Management Practice Notes on the Legat extranet. Your counsel can provide you a password to access the extranet if you don't have one already. In 2010, Legat secured $870,000 from the Australian Government to support improvements in local government's long-term financial planning and asset management. In progressing the project, we worked closely with the officers, elected members and state government, including the Local Government Division and the Audit Office, as well as the Institute of Public Works and Engineering Australia. And as part of that project, we enshrined in legislation requirements to develop and maintain long-term financial plans, strategic asset management plans, and asset management policies, as well as key indicators of success. The Auditor General's reports have shown continuous sector improvement in the financial sustainability of Tasmania's local government sector. Councils were provided training for elected members and staff. They were able to assess the maturity of their processes and were supported to put in place asset management plans for all core asset classes with the assistance of regional coordinators. A range of practice notes and a model long-term financial plan and strategic asset management plan, which could be used with IPWI's NAM system, were developed and are available on the Legat extranet. Legat is currently developing up a new program of activity for 2019, so please keep an eye on our website for advice as we roll out new training and tools. This integrated and collaborative approach that was taken under the project was identified as unique in Australia, and a range of successful outcomes have been achieved. An asset can be defined as a resource controlled by a council as a result of past events and from which future economic benefits are expected to flow to both the council and the community. Asset management is important because councils spend considerable funds on acquiring and managing assets. There is exposure to financial risk over the longer term if budget processes don't reflect the costs associated with the maintenance of assets beyond the current budget period. Councils must consider all information on infrastructure, assets, and the contribution current ratepayers make to their consumption. Simple but robust asset management and financial plans allow councils to determine sustainable service levels, affordable asset acquisition strategies, cost-effective maintenance regimes, and overall funding requirements. Local government is focused on good governance and quality service delivery, and asset management is about the quality of assets, which are critical to communities' livability. Without quality assets, service delivery will suffer. Tasmanian councils are custodians of well in excess of $9 billion worth of infrastructure and assets, including roads, bridges, stormwater, building, parks and recreational facilities. And this investment has been made over many generations. This means councils have an obligation to ensure that current assets are managed efficiently and effectively, and that decisions regarding the acquisition of new assets and sale and maintenance of current assets are open and transparent. It is the role of council staff to assist the elected body to translate asset management policy objectives into plans which will enable councils to efficiently and effectively manage their asset portfolios. It's fair to say that the expectation is, when there is a discussion on asset management, that it is solely about assets, that it will be technical and financially focused, and that there will be a lot of data. However, asset management is a key strategic activity of council. The goal of asset management is to understand and report on costs and consequences of a required level of service, and to think about how services can be delivered in the most cost-effective manner and through the creation, acquisition, maintenance, operation, rehabilitation and disposal of assets, and to ensure that present and future consumers are provided for well. Sometimes assets are like icebergs. Many of Council's assets are below the surface and invisible to the public eye. The visible assets are required to be beautiful, functional and reliable, but often can't be effective without those invisible parts. Most important parts of assets can't be seen, but they can cost a lot. Think about, for example, the components of roads and bridges, stormwater and drainage. There are several key documents that support strong asset management planning. For example, an asset management strategy, strategic asset management plans, and an asset management policy. The asset management policy establishes the objectives for asset management, providing a platform for service delivery. It integrates asset management with council corporate and financial planning and assigns accountability and responsibility for service delivery. It broadly takes into account the whole of life costing, the service levels and financing options, and requires the adoption of an asset management plan which has been informed by community consultation and local government financial reporting, and which is supported by training in financial and asset management. An asset management strategy supports and implements the organisation's asset management policy. It enables councils to show how their asset portfolio will meet the service delivery needs of their communities into the future. It also enables councils' asset management objectives to be achieved and ensures the integration of councils' asset management with their long-term strategic plans. The asset management strategy requires consideration of councils' current stock of assets and their condition, and the identification of any proposed changes to the assets and how they will be given effect. A long-term strategic asset management plan specifies how the organisational objectives are to be converted into asset management service objectives, and the approach for developing asset management plans and the role of the asset management systems in supporting achievement of key asset management objectives. The long-term strategic asset management plan effectively summarises the content of asset management plans for individual classes or groupings of assets by type. Finally, an asset management plan is a long-term plan, 10 to 20 years or more, for infrastructure assets, and an asset management plan will outline the activities and programs for each asset-based service area and resources, and is applied to provide a defined level of service in the most cost-effective manner. Asset management plans in particular include financial information such as capital expenditure for renewing and upgrading, and recurrent expenditure for maintaining assets, and they will incorporate risk management strategies that have regard to the condition of assets and the circumstances of their use. So in summary, an asset management policy will guide the formulation of Council's asset management strategy. The asset management policy itself will be formulated in the context of Council's overall strategic plan and other policies. The actions proposed in the asset management strategy will reflect what a council proposes to do to achieve its objectives regarding service from asset and management of assets. The costs and other relevant key information associated with these actions, such as the identification of risks and proposed responses, will be documented in Council's long-term strategic asset management plan.